Hello and welcome to another I Heart Wawa episode of We Only Look Thin. I am one of your hosts, Donald Weigel, and I have lost about 100 pounds. I've kept it off for over 6 years. I think I can officially say 6.5 years at this point. And we are here to talk about it. And with me, the other part of the we is next to me, as usual, and that is
Catherine Weigel. I'm the we. I enjoy Wawa. Wawa. Anyway, that's a deep cut. We'll talk about Wawa later. I have also lost a lot of weight and kept it off for a really long time. I am a Tiny Habit certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach, married to this super duper guy next to me for 20-something years now.
20-something. You already forgot.
Say
you already forgot.
20-something.
Yeah.
And I can say, without a doubt, question many things, but do not doubt that Wawa is the best convenience store. Mic drop. I will be taking no further questions.
No further questions. I don't know. I don't really know what convenience stores are around the world. Is Tesco a convenience store in the UK? That's a grofory store.
It's very far away, so that's not convenient at all.
Yeah, not convenient for us at all. But, you know, here in the UK, we've got like your mobile, I forget what they're called. There's like the mobile gas station convenience store, and there's 7-Eleven. And
your 7-Elevens,
And yeah, Wawa really is, I think it's only available on the East Coast.
It is, and it's a magical destination.
They're just fantastic. They have like 47 kinds of coffee and like a build-your-own hoagie station. And yeah.
Well, and the great part about it, were you going to talk about the great part about
No.
Wawa? So we've been
We've
been talking about convenience stores in the last few episodes.
That's why I, bring up convenience stores.
What is better than convenience? If it was an inconvenience store where everything was like secretly packaged in a mystery paper bag of like, this is a food product.
It's on a very high shelf that you can't reach, and they don't provide any sort of stepladder.
Right. No signs, no pricing. That would not be very convenient at all. But Wawa is like the most convenient thing. And when you walk into a place that makes you feel happy and recognized, it's well lit, everything is organized, easy to reach, easy to get out of, you're in, you're out, it's fantastic. What is more fun than that? Nothing is more fun than that. Again, no more questions will I be taking right now.
So how can you, what we're getting at and what we've been getting at for the last few episodes is, how can you make your home, your work, your life in general more like a Wawa convenience store, in that you enjoy being there and you enjoy getting fitness and eating right and achieving your health and fitness goals? How do you get there? We're here to talk about it.
We are. So I'm not sure that BJ Fogg, Stanford professor, really thought about convenience stores when he came up with the idea of the ability chain for completing and engaging in a habit that you're interested in. But it is our style to bring in real life into the fictional world of university learning.
Yeah, so BJ Fogg created the ability chain, as Catherine said, and the idea behind it is there are 5 links in the chain, and each link represents an obstacle, essentially, to getting you to do the habits that you want to do. And by looking at each link in the chain and breaking down what is stopping you from getting a habit done, it allows you to then bolster that habit, or to make the habit simpler, or make that link in the chain simpler, so that you can then do the habit that you want to do, or at least get the starter step going.
Well, and so I have 2 things to say. One, I called universities fiction, and you didn't even notice because you were focusing on something else. I said that they were fictional. They are not fictional. Universities are a real thing. Stanford is a real university.
I completely missed that. I must have been thinking about what I was going to say.
I know, but the other part of that is thinking about a chain. And one of the conveniences of a chain store like Wawa or a grocery store chain or any kind of like systemized place that is predictable is that whichever you go to, you know what you're going to get. Like if you are in a rush and you have limited time, you go to a place that you are familiar with because it reduces anxiety. You know where everything is. You know what the prices are. It's like right there and it's easy. And part of, again, BJ Fogg did not recognize this, but part of that chain is creating a chain of habits, behaviors, mindset that help you achieve your goals in really simple ways. And like, we want to do things that are easy for us and convenient. And that is where the chains come in. And last week we had so many good things to say.
Yeah.
That we decided to break it up into a chain, or like, is this a franchise version of this episode?
We'll call this a franchise version, or maybe this is a chain reaction. See what I did there? So yeah, we initially we went down all 5 links of the chain in terms of the ability chain, in talking about getting more movement in your life, about breaking down the barriers to getting more movement in your life and burning more calories. And there was so much content that we decided, so much great, fantastic content, I should add, that we decided to break that chain into 2 parts. So last week we talked about the time and money parts of the chain, and this week you will hear our discussion, which we recorded last week essentially, regarding physical effort, mental effort, and routine. And I have to say, I don't normally get to do this because I don't normally like hear it before we talk about it, but you really shared a lot of emotional aspects of your life,
many feelings,
and I'm really grateful to you, and I really think the listeners will be grateful to you for for opening up and being honest about your struggles with your belief in your physical abilities.
Yeah, no, it's this is an emotional journey. I know we usually use the chuckles to get by and make everything sound fun, but our health journeys really do matter, and there's a lot of baggage from our pasts that might get in our way. So hopefully this episode will be able to undo some of the old thoughts we have around fitness and health. And I hope you will get something out of it. So thank you so much for listening. If you haven't listened to part 1, go back to last week and listen to it so you can get more context. But if you're listening to this for the first time, you're not going back to the last episode. That's also cool. You do you the way you do you.
Yeah, so you're about to hear us start with the 3rd chain in the BJ Fogg, or the 3rd link in the BJ Fogg ability chain, which is physical effort. And we will pick that up right there.
Yep. So here we go.
All right. So the 3rd link in the BJ Fogg ability chain is what, darling?
Oh, golly. I need to turn my page. The next one
Turning your page on your fitness
is physical effort. This is a big one. And it comes again in a couple of different forms. There is physical effort in terms of actually like a 5-pound weight, a 10-pound weight, running up a hill. That is actual physical effort. And then there is the spatial physical effort. That's right. I'm going into space, everyone. Do you have your rebounder easily accessible, or do you have it in the closet, in the back, on top of the Christmas tree, whatever, where you can't actually reach it? And
do you have your treadmill behind some shelves in the garage that you have to climb over, and risk your life? I mean, I'm exaggerating, but at one point my parents had a treadmill and an exercise bike that were like basically buried in their basement, like in a area that you had to navigate and excavate to get to. And I was just like, why is this all the way back here? Like, put it somewhere where you can use it.
Right. So that sort of unpleasant distance really does matter. If it takes a lot of effort to pull it out, dust it off, get all the clothing off of it, whatever, you're not going to do it. And again, our rebounders, not super snazzy, like, tying into our theme, minimalist, modern, whatever, but our health and our fitness are important to us. So we found space for them.
Also, I guess this actually ties back to money really quick. we got our current rebounders, I seriously debated getting these like $300. I think there were 300 or 400, maybe even more rebounders. And then I saw the rebounder that we ended up getting. It was like $80, and it had fantastic reviews. And I know $80 is still a lot of money to a lot of people. And it's not a lot of money, but it was, we got them and they ended up being great. And so, you really can, if you look around and look at reviews, find less expensive versions of things too. Sorry, going back to money for a second.
No, you're good. So again, think about the opportunities for fitness at home. Are those things easily accessible, in reach, and in a space where you're actually going to use them? Also, going back to that physical effort of where is your gym? Is it convenient to park there? That is a huge thing of like, yeah, it's great, but it's really hard to get to. If it's hard to get to, then it is not the gym for you. I joined a gym near our daughter's school. It's very far from our house, but it's super convenient when I drop her off at school. I can then go to the gym. If joining a gym near your office, like Donald said, I didn't actually know there's a gym on where you
on
are?
The property, yeah, which I don't use.
But you do use your feet during lunchtime to go for walks.
I eat my lunch at my desk, and I go for a walk during my lunch break. So I work while I eat, and then I actually take my lunch break. I throw in an audiobook or a podcast, and I take a walk for that time instead.
Right. So what can you do in your physical space that matters? And then again, back to that physical effort, a lot of times we get daunted by what a video or a class leader or coach or whatever tells us to do versus what we feel comfortable doing. For me, modifying is huge. If a class calls for carrying weights and you don't have weights or they're too heavy, use your body weight. If someone says do a push-up and that's too much, do one on your knees. There are so many different modifications.
Yeah, or against a wall or even, it definitely helps to build up strength.
I mean, there are more than two ways to do a push-up. You can act like, anyway, I won't get into modified push-ups, but there's like 50 different ways that you can do it to make it easy for yourself. And it feels much better to do a super modified push-up than it does to just say, well, I'm not going to do it until I have like the perfect form. We don't get the perfect form by just magic. We, level up slowly. And for me, recognizing that I could do whatever I wanted in fitness.
Yeah.
Even if a drill sergeant is like, go burn. I don't have to do anything anybody says. I can do whatever I want and do it as slow as I need to do it at my pace. Sure, put in some energy, put in some effort, but you don't have to go at anyone else's intensity, speed, duration, weight, whatever. We can meet ourselves where we are. And that feels a lot better than just not doing it and feeling any shame. So.
Yeah. And again, physical exercise, the physical effort does not have to be running for miles or swimming laps in an Olympic-sized pool or pumping iron to burn calories. Start where you are, like Catherine just said. And I wanted to highlight a couple of really great YouTube videos that really highlight how you can get exercise at any level. There's Justin Augustin,
which great.
Has a channel on YouTube called Workouts for Beginners, which are really fantastic. Like if you really are, at a place where you're just starting to be able to move or you don't have a terrible range of movement, you can really get some valuable workout tips out of him. And then another one is Leslie Sanson's Walk at Home.
Those are great. I did one recently. Have you ever done one?
I have, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they're great. And like, she's got ones where you can like work out in a chair. I mean, so does Justin Augustin too, but you can really get exercise and burn calories at whatever pace you can go that is comfortable for you.
Yeah. And there's also Silver Sneakers is another great one. One of the members of Wolt, her birthday was actually on our anniversary. Happy birthday to you. You know who you are. You know who you are. That is is all I will say. Happy birthday to you. She actually works out with a trainer who works with a lot of senior citizens, and she focuses on a lot of like basic range of motion, like practical stability things, which we all need as we age. So there's so many resources out there to make us feel good about it instead of feeling totally overwhelmed. I have one more thing to say on physical effort before we move on. So again, with the physical effort, I know we talked about equipment, but honestly, having things to wear that are easily accessible.
Oh, yeah.
Sports bras, walking shoes in your car. Do you have a spare pair of shoes? Do you have walking shoes at work and a spare pair of socks? Do you have your Fitbit charger handy? Do you know where it is? Making it easy to do the things we want really matters. I remember back in the day when I would work out and I like couldn't find my shoe or couldn't find my sports bra. It was chaotic. I kept everything loosey-goosey. And because I made it really hard to find all of my workout gear, I didn't want to do it. It was too hard.
Yeah.
So now I have a little basket right next to the bed where I have all of my little workout gear all together, socks and all the things. And it makes it so much more convenient and like reduces that stress. So make it easy for yourself by making those fitness, Fido clothes easy to grab.
Absolutely. And I was going to mention that during the final link in the chain, routine, also, which maybe I will do again.
Yeah, routine is big. So yeah.
So the next link in the BJ Fogg ability chain is mental effort.
This is the biggest one for me.
Yeah, and I think it is largely the biggest one for me too. And in terms of getting movement into my day, one of the biggest hurdles for me to get over was I spent so much of my life doing exercises that I hated and thinking that I had to do them. I would, go to gyms and I would run on treadmills or I would run outside or I would lift weights and I just dreaded every minute of it. Look, I'd be glad when it was over. I also worked out with a personal trainer for a big chunk of time and I got really good results, but I just dreaded it. And I got to a point where I would try and come up with excuses to get out of seeing him and to cut back on the amount of time. And it just eventually led to me like quitting altogether and really finding movement that I enjoyed, which in my case is mostly walking and getting extra neat, or at least movement that I didn't hate was a big hurdle in getting over the mental effort involved with getting more movement in.
Well, and I know for our audience is varied. We have people who were maybe very athletic in high school and in college. And then, once you settle down into grown-up life, maybe you struggle more with your weight. But if you're like me, and I try to not get emotional about this, but like being picked last for every single flip-a-doodling thing in elementary school, every single team, every whatever, feeling so much shame about my body and my ability. I leaned into that of like, well, I don't want to change for PE, or I hurt my ankle, or, I can't do this or I can't do that. I felt so much shame about physical movement and people making fun of me that I didn't want to do it. I just associated it with shame and embarrassment. Being made fun of for moving or having jiggly body parts or whatever was flipping awful.
Yeah.
And it took me so long to find, like I said, this one is really tough for me. Seeing movement as a way to love yourself instead of part of hating yourself or judgment from other people is so critical. I want to be mobile. I want to be active. I want to be strong. I want to feel good and confident in my body. And that doesn't have anything to do with getting medals or, it's not for other people. It's for me. And being able to own that and move because I know it makes me feel good is so much better than associating it with shame and finding ways to undo the frigging garbage terribleness of like the presidential physical fitness.
Yeah.
Like I thought the president was going to individually look at my, like, oh, well, here's Kathy Rakowski. Like, oh, she can't even do one pull up. Like, shame on you. Like, okay.
I think the president probably did do that.
No, but like, okay, imagining Ronald Reagan just be like, well, Catherine Weigel doesn't know what she's. Was that my? Well,
yeah, no, that was a heck of a Reagan
Nancy,
impression.
whatever. But like, when you think the president is like checking out how flexible you are and how many jumping jacks you can do, it was really terrible for me. And like that song, "Nobody Walks in L.A." Grew up in Los Angeles. You don't walk. Like, walking is for bobos.
Right.
You don't walk.
You put your bobo shoes on and you sit down in Los Angeles.
But like letting go of all of that, like, old association with what you think it means to move and moving for yourself is such a breakthrough. And it took me until I was in my 40s to finally feel comfortable enough in my body to move. I remember, and I'll stop and you can move on to new things. I remember the first time I went for like my Couch to 5K jog, I was so worried that people were going to make fun of me or like, you know, because that's what middle school and high school and junior, like all the things. And I remember running down the path at the river walk where we go. And I was like, okay, I'm jogging. I'm going very slowly, but maybe I'll stop jogging when I see someone else. And I remember jogging and man, I'm getting all like emotional about this. A man was jogging, not running at me or toward me.
A man was running at me with a knife, and I turned around and I got a lot of calories burned that day.
But like I was jogging and I was really self-conscious about it, and a guy was jogging past me in the other direction, and he gave me like a little nod and a thumbs up, and like that was like, oh my gosh, like people are nice and want you to succeed. And like, it just felt so good and so empowering. So like, give a thumbs up to anybody who you see doing anything, because it matters. And I really appreciate that man doing that.
Thank you for sharing all of that, dear. I appreciate it. And I hope, I think the audience appreciates it too.
Thanks.
Trying to, move on to some more mental effort, hacks. One thing I suggest is decide ahead of time, or try and decide once. Like, it's just automatic that Catherine and I like are getting up in the morning at a certain time, dark 30, and going for a walk in the morning. So reduce how many decisions you need to make.
That's huge.
Or how many variables are involved. Like, just decide, this is when I'm doing it. This is how much I'm doing. And look, life comes up and you're going to have to pivot. But generally, if you don't have to debate with yourself all the time, well, am I going to do it this day or that day? Decide when you're doing it and just doing it. Like, for example, I have a minimum to where I will, I work on the 5th floor of a building. I take the stairs down to the 2nd floor to use the restroom, and I have a minimum. I do that at least twice a day. So I take the stairs down and I take the stairs back at least twice a day. And sometimes I add more to that, but it's something that I've just pre-decided that, like, yes, I'm going to do that twice a day. Also, work on getting over the idea that blank, whatever blank is the only real exercise.
Yeah.
This is a big, mental hurdle to get over. If you can say to yourself, that all movement, and really, believe it, all movement is important and helps you get fit. It really goes a long way to getting fitness in. Work on getting over your all or nothing ideas. Some exercise, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, anything is better than none at all if you're just sitting all the time. And then another thing to do is really work on your identity as a person who likes to move. Yeah. Catherine was just talking about, identifying as being a couch potato and being told nobody walks in LA and all of that. Like, really work on, like, you know what? I'm actually somebody who likes to move. I'm actually somebody who likes to walk upstairs. I'm somebody who, like, wants to park far away and get more steps when I go to the mall. I guess, do people still go to malls?
Yeah. They get you over to the mall.
Over to the mall or the grocery store or whatever. Really work on your identity. And then, finally, in this section, for me at least, really think about what is an important reason why you want to do it that has nothing to do with vanity or physical appearance? For me, that is, I want to still be able to keep enjoying the things that I love into my golden years. And for me, that's going to Disneyland, traveling, exploring new areas, going to San Diego Comic-Con, and being able to handle all of the movement and steps and walking that all of those things involve is really important to me. And it's really a big motivator. And being able to do those things with my wife of almost 27 years now.
Basically, let's call it around 30.
Yeah, basically almost 30. We have almost 60 years of marriage between us when you really think about it. Being able to do those things together is really an important motivator for me and keeps me focused on it.
Yeah, I mean, and that is so huge. None of this is a vanity project. It's about sustaining ways to make ourselves live the lives that we want. There's getting to a point where we have to skip doing things because we physically can't do them. There are so many things that I skipped when I was younger because I was afraid to look foolish, or maybe I didn't have the stamina to do it. And it feels so fun to be able to go to the trampoline park with the kids and jump around instead of sitting on the sidelines, going swimming with kids. There's lots of kids around. All of our nephews and
our daughter's almost 19. Why are you hanging out with kids all the time?
No, but our nieces and nephews are all they're going to grow up and suddenly there aren't going to be any kids around.
Yeah.
But being able to actually participate instead of, I'm just going to sit on a bench and watch you guys have fun. It feels so much more fun to be able to splash around and play and, do, Frisbee things and basketball things, as you do things that you do with people. It feels so much more fun to do that. It's the bigger life to be able to move around. And that doesn't have anything to do with personal records or, Jane Fonda or whatever. It's just about investing in our lives. Now, if you want to level up and put in that extra effort to really go the extra mile or do 5Ks or 10Ks or whatever, then do that. Elevate yourself. Find what motivates you. But in the whole scope of the mental effort thing, it matters to be able to move, and doing what you can and adapting feels so much better than throwing up our hands like we're at a house party with Donald White.
Raising the roof.
Raising various roofs.
Personally, I level up by playing Frisbee basketball. But that's Frisbee-ball? Were you trying to think
I don't know. I like combining words if you don't know me already.
Okay, so what is the final chain in the or the final link in the BJ Fogg ability chain to troubleshoot when it comes to movement, darling?
Okay, so routine. Routine is really important. Being able to assess the season that you're in, not just, I used to be able to do this all the time and now I can't. What season are you in? Your literal season, summer, spring, fall, how busy you are, where you can fit fitness into your routine really does matter. Having the right routine to set yourself up for success matters so much. I remember thinking back in the day, I don't have time to go to the gym on weekdays. I remember even you were like, I don't have time now. I work 5 days a week. Oh, what great news. There's Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean I can work out 2 days a week? That's better than none? Yeah, sure it is. Being able to adapt and fit things in. Some days we go to the gym. Some days we walk in our neighborhood. Some days we rebound. Having different routines for different kinds of days really do matter.
And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more in the next episode. But one of the keys for me was really making sleep a priority. And I used to constantly...
That's huge.
I used to constantly, say to myself, I'm going to stay up just another 10 more minutes because this is my time. I deserve it. I'm going to watch just another 15 more minutes of TV. I'm going to stay up another 10 minutes, scrolling my phone or whatever it was because this is my time. And then just not being able to get up early in the morning, not feeling rested the next day, and just, constantly being in this vicious cycle of I'm tired all the time. I can't get movement in. I don't feel rested. I don't have time. And going to bed at a consistent hour. I know people really don't like hearing this, but going to bed at a consistent hour and waking up feeling refreshed in the morning, so that A, I'm having time to do things in the morning, and B, I'm rested and have the energy to do more physical movement, has been just a huge thing for me. For me in terms of keeping up with my fitness.
Right. And a lot of people too, and this is something that I struggled with in the past, is prescriptive routines, meaning having someone tell you the best way to work out is X. If, working out at night is great because then it burns whatever. Do it in the morning is great because then it does whatever, 30 minutes or whatever. If we feel discouraged by someone else's prescription of the perfect way to work out, it's going to discourage us from figuring out what is best for us. For Donald and I, for example, we love getting the bulk of our steps and our exercise in the morning.
Yeah.
Because it sets us up for the energy that we have in the day. We know that we've already gotten the steps in so that we're not worrying about it. But that's just us. What works for you? Are you better doing it at lunchtime or in the evening? Where do you have the most energy in the day? Because it's not the same for all of us. Other things to consider are, and again, there's no one right way. Do you prefer to work out alone, or are you motivated by doing it with others? Not everybody likes team experiences. Not everybody likes team classes. But if you do, then lean into that. Know what is true for you. Again, I do fine having videos at home that I can adapt and do by myself. Are you the kind of person who prefers a coach and someone who's holding you accountable? Lean into that. Again, do you like doing team activities like joining a league of some sort? Or do you really prefer doing things by yourself? Are you motivated by benchmarks and records? Like Donald loves having the Fitbit and having the benchmark of his, daily step goal and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And really making it a game makes it more fun for me and more interesting if I'm trying to hit a specific goal each day.
Right. Or does that stress you out? Is it oh my gosh, I didn't hit my steps. What am I going to meet yourself where you are? Know where you are motivated. And then again, are records important to you? Are you the kind of person who likes to have a routine where you're signing up for 5Ks every 3 months or something like that to kind of have something to push you along? Really knowing what gets you going and structured matters. Again, on the day-to-day routine, and I think Donald mentioned this too, in practical life, my routine is I get up out of bed. I've got my basket of gym clothes right next to the bed.
Yeah.
I go brush my teeth. I, put on my workout gear, and I'm starting the day wearing the clothes of someone who is a fit person.
Yeah. It's just, I've made it part of my routine as well. It is the first thing I do every morning when I get up is immediately get into workout clothes. I don't go out. Once if I go out and sit on the couch, drink coffee in the pajamas, then that inertia sets in, and then suddenly it's okay, now I have to get up and go change. But if I get into the workout clothes right away and then I have coffee, it's almost like the coffee is a reward for putting the clothes on, and then I'm just ready to go out on the walk when we're ready to go.
Right. So dress for the fitness job that you want. I am much more likely to work out and rebound and do whatever if I'm wearing workout clothes. Again, if you're at the office and, maybe wearing workout clothes is not what you can do, what do you have as a routine during your day? And this is actually what I started doing. We had a secretary who went on smoke breaks. Must be nice to smoke because then you get a break. Boy, if
Right.
only I was the Marlboro man, everything would be fine.
Right.
But I actually used that as a prompt, as that kind of anchor moment of when our secretary goes for a cigarette break, I open my drawer, put on my walking shoes, and I walk down the stairs at work. That was 15 flights. I would walk around the building while she was on her smoke break, and then I would take the elevator back up. And before you knew it, she didn't even know. I was doing it right under her cigarette nose.
You were getting fitness right in
Right,
front of her.
But that was part of my routine, and it felt really good to say, like, well, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Okay, well, I can walk downstairs. I'm not sweating a lot, but it is good, good for my muscles. And it was a great routine to have. And some routines are daily. Some are dependent on work days or weekends. So you can have different routines for different days.
Yeah, and I've already talked about it. There is definitely some overlap in these links sometimes. But, I have made that walking down the stairs and walking back up the stairs to the second floor part of my daily routine at least a couple of times a day. And also I was trying to figure out how can I get more steps into work, because now I have a real 100% desk job that I transitioned to a few months ago. And I figured out that I could, work while I ate my food and then make my lunch break an actual walking break instead. This is sort of a funny anecdote. I'm pre-laughing. I was walking back up the stairs earlier in the week, and the woman sort of came in right behind me, and I said, boy, I don't see a lot of people in the stairwell. And she said, I forgot something upstairs in my office, and so I'm punishing myself.
Oh.
And I said, don't think of it that way. I said, think of it as you get to walk up the stairs now, and you get to have some exercise.
I throw that in Donald's face a lot. I was like, what good luck. You get to go back upstairs to get your coffee.
I pulled it on her.
It's kind of passive aggressive.
She was pleasant enough about it, but I don't know that she completely bought into the idea. But anyway, really adding that sort of thing into your daily life. And then I really do, when I'm doing anything, I try and ask myself, like, how can I turn this into an opportunity to burn a few calories? Like, how can I make this more physically difficult for myself to do in a way so that it is a calorie burning thing? Whether it's like, okay, I've got a can. I could walk to the recycling can that's closer to my cubicle, or I could walk to the one that's farther away. Like, okay, I'm going to walk to the farther away one because that's going to burn more calories. Like things like that, thinking about that all the time. I'm at a grocery store. I'm going to park my cart in one spot. I'm going to go physically get one thing, bring it back to the cart, again, you don't need to go completely bonkers for it, but these sort of things really do matter and add up when you're trying to add movement into your routine.
Right. And this is kind of like the big thing for me, is paying attention to when your routine changes. A lot of times and this has happened to us, is, oh gosh, I was in a great routine where I would go to the gym every day, or I would do the workout video, or we would go for walks every day. And then suddenly you almost you don't realize it's happened. You're like, man, I used to go swimming all the time, but I just don't do it anymore. I must be broken. I thought I said I could do this forever, and now I'm not. I guess I was wrong. We have the opportunity to pay attention to our actual lives and how our routines have changed. For us, our routine changed because our daughter was going to school right down the street, and now we have to drive a half hour to get to her school. Of course, my fitness routine is going to change because my life is actually changing. Your seasons can change. Maybe summer is a great time for outdoor activity, but not in winter, or vice versa. Not seeing a routine as fixed forever, but rather adaptable to the actual season of your life matters. We're also affected by the routines of others. When you have an activity partner like Donald Weigel Jr.,
hey, that's me.
Donald Jr., and then suddenly his routine changes, my routine can change without me really even noticing it. And then suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm not doing the workout videos anymore. What happened? I don't remember. One of us had an injury recently where suddenly we weren't doing the exercise videos. And it's not like, oh my gosh, I guess I don't have the motivation. I don't have the whatever. It's like, no, the circumstance changed. That's why. It's not because I'm broken or I'm not motivated. It's because the routine changed.
Catherine's being kind. It was me who had the injury and caused us to stop doing the videos.
I didn't really, one of you.
One of us. one of us. I'm not going to say which one. We're not going to point fingers at anybody.
But we can also be like, well, he's not doing it, so I'm not going to do it. And knowing like, oh, I'm really motivated by external, like if he's doing it, I'm doing it. So seeing those little like aspects of our habits that change, again, it's a way to troubleshoot and go like, oh, no wonder, because he isn't doing it. Okay, well, what can I do on my own? How can I adapt my schedule? Recognizing that we have the opportunity to change routines when our life actually changes helps us go from that victim, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I don't have time. See, I injured myself. Now I can't do anything. It takes us out of a victim and passive mentality and takes us into that good luck mentality of, oh, what good luck. Donald hurt his wrist. That now is a time to work on core activities, or now we can get in extra steps instead of, of doing the strength training. Being able to adapt and adjust is so important in our health journeys. And when we can look at all of these different links in our ability chain of actually getting fitness done, it's so much more empowering than just throwing our hands up and saying, I don't know what happened. I just can't get myself to do it. So what part of the ability chain, or what parts are making it difficult for you to achieve your health goals? Is it time, money, physical effort, mental effort, or routine, or a combination of those? When we start advocating for our health goals and being able to troubleshoot through our struggles, we become fitos. That's right. We become, actually, our daughter calls us fitos.
And you can get us at the Fitvenience store.
Yeah, the Fitvenience store.
Yeah.
Look around your environment. How can you level up your physical environment, your mental environment, and make it easier for you to do the things you say you want to do? Being students of ourselves and being able to level up matters, and it not in just the Jane Fonda leg warmer way, but in the actual real life America way.
That's right. Although there's nothing wrong with wearing Jane Fonda leg warmers. So thank you so much for listening. I think next week we are going to wrap up our series on BJ Fogg's ability chain and talk about applying it to all of the sort of non-food and exercise aspects.
Oh, there's more?
Life. There's more. So thank you so much for listening. You can listen to this episode or almost all of our episodes, the most recent 300, wherever you found this one. We're on all the major podcast platforms. You can also find all of our episodes all the way back to numero one.
Onesie.
Numero onesie. On our website, also on YouTube. All of them are up there. You can listen there and you can comment, and we can actually comment back to you on YouTube, which is cool.
Yeah, that's been fun.
And they are at our website anytime you would like to find them at weonlylookthin.com.
Yep, and if you are at weonlylookthin.com, click on that link for join our support group. To find out more about Wolt Place. We Only Look Thin Place is our Facebook-based accountability group. We are not a weight loss plan. We're not going to prescribe anything, but we are a place for support and accountability and fellowship on this weight loss journey venture. We have weekly Zoom meetings. We've got subgroups for specific areas of interest, including food and fitness and what is the other one? And managing the scale.
Fun.
And it's just a lovely group of women supporting one another. So if you feel like you could benefit from supporting yourself and others on this adventure, please give us a try. We've got a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if Wolt Place is right for you.
So please check it out. And you can also check us out on the social medias. We are on Instagram and Facebook at We Only Look Thin. And you can also email us if you would enjoy doing that. We've gotten some very nice emails from listeners recently that we really appreciate. giving us a shout out. We also like receiving episode ideas, and if you have any questions, we'll do our best to answer. And you can do all of that to weonlylookThin@gmail.com.
Yep. And if you have a couple of extra minutes and can head over to Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating and a review. Not only does it let us know that what we're doing after all these years is still connecting with new listeners from the dark web or otherwise.
Yeah.
But
the dark, the light, the medium.
Yeah, the medium web.
We'll take people from all the shades of the web.
All shades of the web. But it really does let us know that what we're doing week after week, year after year matters to our community. And it also lets other people on the internet, it helps them find us when they're looking for super cool rad beans podcasts like ours.
Yeah, super cool rad beans. And if you would tell somebody that our podcast is super cool rad beans, we would really appreciate that. If you are in a conversation and it comes up, if you know somebody that you think would get something out of the show, we would be grateful if you'd give us a shout out. Or if you're on one of those shades of the web, let's say Facebook, or maybe Instagram, or maybe a Discord server, or perhaps a Reddit group.
Dark web.
Yeah,
Reddit is dark web.
Dark
definitely.
web group. Yeah, that's right. The dark web of the Reddit. And, you give us a shout out. It really does help the show grow, and we would be grateful.
Yep, it sure does. So if you are not sure if you are going to shop at the Fitvenience store or its competitor Fitocity, just remember that Donald and I are
an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.